Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I want to review a couple of my dreams that have eventually come to pass, and why I get really nervous when I have bad dreams. My most recent one, and this one is starting to come to pass, at least it hasn't really. I dreamt that silver had hit $60,000 an ounce. I don't know why that number in particular, but I was listening to about it on the Peter Schiff show, which I affectionately like to call the Peter Shit show. And Peter had spent about an hour bragging about how he was right all along. He was right, he was right, he was right. And he was just bragging on his show. Silver was $60,000 an ounce. His show concluded. I was getting ready to move. In the dream, I dreamt that I had met a Ukrainian refugee. I was going to move with her back to Ukraine, and I was thinking about how rich I would be over there. I packed a 1,000 ounce silver bar onto the plane, and and then I realized, wait a minute, why is that bar so lightweight? Like, it's not heavy at all. And that's when I woke up from the dream. And well, silver is now $50 an ounce, right? Still got a ways to go to where it was in my dream. And instead of Ukraine, I started dating somebody from Vietnam, right? And we'll see how that plays out. I just thought about that dream and how parallel it has gone with my life, right? A lot of times my dreams don't always rhyme one for one, but parts of it will come true, right? Maybe it's a different metal other than silver. Maybe it's the wrong country that I thought about moving to. But usually my dreams will at least rhyme. In 2019, I dreamt that I was at a Computer Olympiad conference, and my ex-girlfriend happened to go there. We had been apart for 5 years at that point. She had brought her new boyfriend, and we were approaching the elevator of the conference hall, and I hold the door open for the two of them. My ex-girlfriend looks at her new boyfriend and says, "Don't get in the elevator with this guy. He has some sort of disease." And I woke up shaking from that dream. I thought it was a reflection on my eating disorders. In 2019, my eating habits were a huge mess. And actually, I blame our American culture on why my eating disorder is so messy. When I was in Taiwan, it was a lot easier to fit in with healthy eating lifestyles. Here in the US, so much of life revolves around eating or restrictions on eating even, right? So, for example, I work at a tutoring center. I really can't eat in front of the students. Now, you might think that that's a good idea if you're trying to eat less. Not really, because it pigeonholes how I could go about my day. But whatever the situation is, I thought that was a reflection on my eating disorders. So in 2020, I made a resolution to address that. And then a couple months into the resolution, we really did have a disease where nobody could get into an elevator with anybody else. And the first thing I thought about was that dream. And unfortunately, that's an all too common scenario for it. Something happens bad, and I realize, damn, I thought I woke up from that dream, and now it's actually happening. I can't tell you how many times situations like that have played out. It's really frustrating when they do, because I'll have a bad dream, and I realize there's nothing I can do about it, right? I ran into some difficulty at another university where I was teaching. What had happened was one night I dreamt that mercury was spilled in the chemistry lab at the university. A little bit of background: I am autistic, and I really need to watch my exposure to heavy metals, whether they be from my environment or from my diet. One thing I didn't do too well in Taiwan is that I ate a lot of fish when I was in Taiwan, and depending on my choice of fish there, I did feel a little bit of a relapse. Fortunately, I love their tilapia, and that one I didn't feel too badly. I don't know how much mercury it had, but I can tell how much mercury a fish has just from my reaction to it. That's how sensitive I am. Just within a few hours of eating it, I could tell you if it's high or low in mercury. So mercury being spilled at my workplace is a huge deal for me, and I dreamt about it. A couple days after that, I was in the break room when a custodian broke a 4-foot fluorescent light bulb, and I made a run for it. I held my breath and I exited the building, and I emailed the class saying, "There's been an emergency. We'll make up the class at some point." And I frantically called the school to find out what they were doing to clean up that situation. Fortunately, they took it pretty seriously too. But unfortunately, I was in such a hurry to leave the break room, I kind of left a mess. And HR was very unhappy about it. Some people are just really passive aggressive. I mean, it's a one-time incident. It's not like I do that every day. I forgot, right? And for some reason, somebody decided to put all my stuff, dirty dishes and everything, rotten food, into a box. And which would have been okay, but when I explained to HR about the situation, the HR girl was a little bit younger than me. I want to say she was in her early 20s, and she didn't know what mercury was, and she had me explain rather than just acknowledge the fact that there's been a medical situation. She had me explain to her what mercury was, and then she laughed at me. Long story short, I'm a teacher. Sometimes I go above and beyond to explain these things. I probably shouldn't have tried to explain everything to HR. I should have just said that, I had a little bit of a crisis and kept it at that. Oh, well, what's mercury? What's it about? Don't worry about it. It's contained. In retrospect, I should have done that. Unfortunately, sometimes I'm so proud of my professor hat that I forget who I'm dealing with, right? And that did not work very well to my situation. And that's why bad dreams are so terrifying. Even when I wake up, it's like, gee, it's an unstoppable situation now once I dream it, right? And I really despise when I have bad dreams. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.